really separated the first time. It felt like they were still in the mix. I mean, they got a kid together. So this time I'm.
And by time passing, we grew with each other.
Did you ever do therapy?
We did a little therapy.
I'm in therapy now, it helps.
Offset sat in that podcast chair on Joe Budden's set like a man auditioning for his own highlight reel, oozing the kind of confidence that only comes when you think the world still turns in your orbit. The question was simple: does it sting more when an ex dates up or down? But the answer was anything but casual. He swore he'd never had to endure a trade-up, the words dripping with the kind of smugness that made it impossible to ignore the shadow of Stefon Diggs looming over the conversation. Cardi's not just moved on, she's moved in a direction that the public, the blogs, and half of the NFL's front row would call an upgrade. And Offset, for all his talk about therapy and family, couldn't resist planting a flag in the sand, staking his claim on a crown she no longer wears for him.
It's like, what are we? Okay, I see what you're trying to do. You competing, but y'all just switching girlfriends. It's like, what is this?
What are we doing?
So I get it. Do I approve of it? Part of me is like, yeah, because I see what Offset is trying to do. He's like, yo, I gotta fight.
And we know that's not just banter, it's pride. Pride wounded by a messy split, sharpened by the optics of Cardi stepping out in Paris with a man whose paychecks make headlines in the sports section. On Joe Budden's show, Offset played coy about whether Cardi's new track Outside took aim at him. He said he'd heard it before the nonsense, brushed it off with a timing thing, and then pivoted to comparing himself to a Shakur-era watchful figure. But the subtext? That was all jagged edges. This wasn't about music beef. It was about control of the narrative, about making sure nobody walks away thinking she found someone who measures up, or worse, someone who surpasses him. The irony here is that fans don't have to speculate too hard about why that pride might be bruised. For years, whispers have trailed Offset like an unshakable entourage. Whispers about late nights, hotel lobbies, and industry women whose names carry enough clout to blow up entire rap group dynamics. When DJ Academics tossed gasoline on the fire, accusing him of stepping out with Saweetie, Chrisean Rock, and a roster of other industry darlings, the chatter shifted from playful to volcanic. It wasn't just that these were casual flings, these were names tethered to other high-profile men, turning Offset's private mess into the kind of crossfire that can take down more than a marriage.
It's like, what are we? Okay, I see what you're trying to do. You competing, but y'all just switching girlfriends. It's like, what is this?
What are we doing?
So I get it. Do I approve of it? Part of me is like, yeah, because I see what Offset is trying to do. He's like, yo, I gotta fight.
And here's where the story curves into even murkier territory: the secret baby rumor. Industry insiders, the kind who speak in half sentences over the hum of backstage generators, claim that one of these alleged affairs didn't just stay in the gossip columns. They say there's a child, unseen by the public, whose existence could explain why Cardi, after 7 years of weathering every kind of public storm, finally filed for divorce again in 2024. If true, that revelation wouldn't just be another messy bullet point in a timeline of chaos. It would be the fault line that split both his personal life and the foundation of Migos itself. We've all seen groups implode over ego, money, and betrayal, but add a hidden family to the mix, and suddenly, the music isn't the only thing at stake. Of course, Offset isn't about to confirm that. Publicly, he's leaning on the "we've grown apart" narrative, emphasizing fatherhood and refusing to sling lyrical daggers at Cardi on his upcoming Chiari album. He wants us to see restraint, to see a man choosing dignity over drama, even as the undertow of old habits threatens to pull that image apart. His refusal to directly address the most damning rumors only fuels them, because in this arena, silence is rarely neutral. It's a strategic pause, a way to let the other person speak first, misstep, and give you the opening you're waiting for.
And I feel like we got married so young. We got married so young, and we got married so like spontaneously. And we did know each other, but we kind of didn't know each other. We just like was in love with each other, and we had like a little toxic relationship. We got married 6 months of knowing each other, and like in those 6 months, we would see each other like twice or 3 times.
Meanwhile, Cardi isn't exactly hiding in the wings. Her relationship with Stefon Diggs isn't just a rebound, it's a production. From the courtside debut at Madison Square Garden to the castle stay in France that looked like it was storyboarded for a streaming series, she's turned moving on into a full-blown spectacle. And every time she posts, every time she steps out, it serves as a reminder that whatever power dynamic existed in that marriage is no longer intact. That shift is what makes Offset's comments so charged, because this isn't just about who's in her bed. It's about who's in the public imagination as her equal or better. The deeper we go, the more this starts to feel less like a breakup and more like an ongoing campaign. Offset's side playing the long game with subtle jabs and denials, Cardi's side leaning into high-visibility romance and pointed lyrics. And hanging over it all, the unanswered question, did his private actions, the alleged betrayals, the rumored child, not only fracture a marriage, but also help bring an era of music history to a close? That's the question industry veterans keep circling, because when a partnership collapses at the exact moment a group like Migos falters, it's hard not to connect the dots.
I just took it as a sign. So I wanna start 2024 like fresh.
If that's the case, we're not just watching the fallout of a celebrity romance, we're watching the slow, public unspooling of a legacy and the kind of personal implosion that can't be measured in chart positions or streaming numbers. And in this business, once the illusion cracks, it rarely reseals without leaving scars we all can see. And now, as if she'd been waiting for the perfect moment to twist the knife, Cardi's countermove has become the centerpiece of every gossip cycle. The Stefon Diggs romance isn't reading like a rebound from the outside, it's reading like a chess piece placed with precision. She didn't go for a quiet entrepreneur, a behind-the-scenes figure who could keep her personal life under the radar. She chose a man with primetime status, Pro Bowl credentials, and a salary that puts him squarely in the upper echelon of sports earners. That choice alone rewrites the public scorecard, positioning her next to someone who can match, or in some eyes eclipse, Offset's shine. If the goal was to dismantle his King of the Hill narrative, this was how you do it.
Keep making moves on top of moves on top of moves until the move that you make grants you to be the king. Checkmate or kingmate.
Kingmate.
You dig what I'm saying? It's all a game. Hey, what I say? It's all entertainment, baby. It's all entertainment. It's all entertainment.
What makes this development even more intriguing is how Stefon Diggs himself fits into the picture. For months, he has maintained a calculated public silence on the more volatile aspects of Cardi and Offset's feud, rarely acknowledging the noise surrounding their split. Yet, behind that quiet front, his actions have spoken loudly, gifting experiences that seem designed to be seen, photographed, and shared. The Parisian castle was not just a romantic surprise. It was a global headline, turning Diggs into a central figure in a story he hasn't verbally addressed. This absence of comment leaves fans torn between seeing him as a dignified bystander or as someone who knows the value of letting a narrative build around him without having to say a single word. The optics of the castle trip were so cinematic that they practically dared the internet to connect it to the feud. Here was a man stepping into the public eye not just as a partner, but as a co-star in a highly publicized new chapter of Cardi's life. While the fairy tale framing played well with her audience, it also positioned Diggs as a symbol, the antithesis to the man she left. Whether that symbolism was his idea or hers is unclear, but in the realm of celebrity culture, perception often matters more than intent. The very act of appearing beside Cardi in such grand settings makes him an unavoidable part of the storyline.
The internet always causes unnecessary problems, unnecessary disagreements, unnecessary things, because a lot of the stuff on the internet and on the line isn't true. So I would just say they need to have that conversation, a real conversation. I'm not leaving this room until it's done, and those are the toughest conversations. When your wife wants to have a conversation, those are the toughest things because you got to put everything on the table. That's the only way something's going to work. Everything has to go on the table for you to possibly be able to move on, and I'm hoping that they can have that conversation.
There's also the question of timing. Diggs' recent high-profile moves in his own career, from a lucrative new contract to increased media appearances, have coincided with this relationship's rapid escalation into the public sphere. For an athlete accustomed to the regimented exposure of the sports world, stepping into the unpredictable currents of entertainment gossip could be risky. And yet, here he is, not shying away from joint workouts filmed for YouTube, lavish vacations documented on Instagram, or public appearances in spaces traditionally dominated by music industry elites. This proximity to a different audience expands his reach far beyond the football field. Some insiders suggest that Diggs' approach is deliberate, a quiet alignment with Cardi's high-visibility strategy that allows him to benefit from the press without ever having to play defense. In this theory, his silence is not disinterest, but discipline, allowing Cardi to lead the public charge while he amplifies the impact through shared appearances and gestures that can be read as romantic support or a savvy self-promotion. It's a balancing act few can manage without slipping into overexposure, but so far, Diggs has kept his footing.
So, who said I love you first, me or you?
Me.
Of course, duh. I've been wanting to tell you that I love you, but you know, a girl can never tell a man that she loves him first. Yeah, I gotta see if you love me first.
Still, others question whether this composure is masking a deeper involvement. Relationships in the public eye often blur the line between genuine affection and mutual brand building. Diggs' decision to lean into Cardi's world, at the very moment her ex is attempting to reassert his dominance, invites speculation about whether he is a willing pawn in her revenge or a co-strategist enjoying the disruption. If the castle trip and the courtside debut were part of a broader plan, then his role in this saga may be far more active than his silence suggests. From a psychological perspective, being cast as the foil to Offset's public persona could have its own allure. In the court of public opinion, Diggs currently occupies the space of the supportive, grounded figure, the man who offers Cardi stability, in contrast to the chaos of her past. That role can be intoxicating, especially when it comes with the dual benefits of personal connection and expanded influence. If he is consciously leaning into that archetype, it could explain the precision with which these shared moments have been staged and released.
You know what I'm saying? That doesn't solve the issues. It's a fun night, then guess what? The next day we arguing. The next day I'm blocking. Then next thing you know, we ain't talking for 4 days.
Of course, there's the possibility that Diggs is simply living his life, and that the overlap with Cardi's public battles is coincidental. Athletes of his caliber often indulge in extravagant trips and grand gestures without any underlying strategic intent. In this reading, the castle and the luxury escapes are nothing more than personal indulgences magnified by Cardi's celebrity lens. Yet in the current climate, where every image is dissected for hidden meaning, even the most innocent act can become loaded with implication. The ambiguity surrounding Diggs' role adds another layer to the unfolding drama. Is he the quiet anchor, offering Cardi a safe harbor as she navigates a storm? Is he an opportunist, aware of the value of proximity to a cultural lightning rod? Or is he something in between, a man caught in the gravitational pull of a media narrative to resist? Whatever the truth, his presence complicates the feud, making it harder to view this as a two-person battle when a third figure keeps appearing in the frame.
Cardi B. Cardi got her cheek back, allegedly. I hope that ain't true.
In the end, the Diggs factor might be one of the most unpredictable elements in this entire saga. Offset can anticipate Cardi's moves because he's lived through her playbook before, but Diggs is a wild card, a figure whose motivations remain hidden, whose silence can be interpreted in multiple ways, and whose next move could either cool the tension or ignite it further. And as long as he stays in that ambiguous space, we're left to wonder whether he's just along for the ride or quietly steering the ship. The optics are undeniable. Paris Fashion Week wasn't just a work trip, it was the stage for a rolling fairy tale. One day, it's couture at the Schiaparelli showcase. The next, it's wandering through a medieval castle straight out of a streaming drama. The stone archways, antique chandeliers, crocodile-filled moat, all of it felt designed to beam one message across the Atlantic. Cardi is not only fine without Offset, she's flourishing. And the fact that Diggs is the one holding the keys to that castle? That's a visual Offset can't erase with a podcast quip or a cryptic post.
We were preparing for the show. I'm like, who could Offset potentially do to get back? And I seen this one.
Mm-hmm.
But she's married.
Who? This one?
The person that he got to bounce back with to equal out the play.
Who you got?
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, you said that. You said Mickey.
That's the only one he can come back.
We've watched enough celebrity breakups to know that these things have layers. On the surface, this is Cardi reclaiming her narrative, making sure the headlines aren't just about a divorce filing, but about a woman stepping into a new chapter with deliberate flair. Dig one layer deeper, and the move starts to feel like strategic warfare. Insiders close to both camps are whispering that the timing, the public debut of the relationship just months before both artists are set to drop albums, is no coincidence. Cardi's Am I the drama is due in September, Offset's Chiari lands in August. In the space of a few weeks, the charts, the gossip blogs, and the comment sections will be forced to pick sides. Offset's predicament isn't just emotional, it's professional. Chiari should be his chance to reset the conversation, to remind people that he's more than half of a broken marriage. But the problem is that personal controversy has a way of shadowing a release. Every tracklist reveal, every feature announcement is being discussed in the same breath as rumors of infidelity, hidden children, and pointed shade. The album might contain some of his best work in years, but right now, it's competing against a narrative that's more click-friendly than any song could hope to be.
This is all triggered by Offset posting and deleting on this story saying, "My wife on me, gang. Y'all know how I come."
The day before that, he was saying that.
So the DM.
Yeah.
I seen them DM to my wife, "I'ma run into you."
That.
And Cardi, knowingly or not, is feeding that competition. Each time she posts from a jet, a workout with Diggs, or a Parisian balcony, it's another splash of ink in a story that keeps Offset tethered to her shadow. Fans are already dissecting her outside lyrics, matching lines to alleged incidents, arguing over whether certain hooks are playful jabs or full-on strikes. We've seen how public perception can become a second battlefield, and Cardi's social presence is functioning like a campaign ad, one that doesn't have to mention Offset by name to keep him firmly in the frame. Some music executives are quietly speculating that this could be the beginning of a full-blown chart war. If Am I the Drama arrives to critical praise and commercial success, while Cardi underperforms under the weight of scandal, the power balance between them shifts permanently. That's not just about bragging rights. It affects tour bookings, brand deals, and who gets top billing in the cultural conversation. And if Cardi's record overtakes his, it won't just be a musical win, it'll be a symbolic one, underscoring her narrative of independence and reinvention.
He was talking about the girl that he was actually, that they was trying to say, you know, his alleged ex, Pretty Red or whatever her name is, right? She actually commented and said, shaking my head, that wasn't with me. That man wasn't with me. I was already there with my husband's sister and brother. I'm 7 months pregnant. Y'all really have to stop with this type of behavior. And she also posted, it's completely crazy that I even have to do this.
But there's a fine line between empowerment and escalation. The Paris castle trip, the high-profile courtside appearances, the carefully timed album rollout, they're all statements of strength, but they're also public provocations. And provocations, especially in the tight-knit, gossip-hungry world of music and sports, tend to invite responses. Already, Offset's been spotted in clubs with women connected to Diggs, which some see as petty payback and others as a desperate grab for relevance in the middle of Cardi's glow-up. Cam Newton even weighed in, comparing the whole affair to swapping papers in a high school classroom. A blunt reminder that, to the outside world, this is looking less like love lost and more like a contest. That contest is risky. In the age of live streams and screenshot culture, one wrong post, one overheard comment, and the narrative can flip overnight. If Offset manages to deliver a critically acclaimed record, he could reclaim some of the cultural ground he's lost. If Cardi's album stumbles, critics will frame her personal wins as distractions from her professional focus. And then there are the unverified rumors still floating, the alleged secret child, the whispered stories about the real reasons Migos fell apart. None of those have been put to rest, and any one of them could explode at the wrong time.
Like 3 factors. I feel like, I don't know, I get a lot of hate. Is it because I respond to it? So people...
Oh, you respond to it.
I respond to it.
You will stop the whole world with a tweet. My team, as soon as Cardi tweets could have been a segment at Hollywood Unlocked, because they'd be like, yo, my team, Keisha right there, she'd be like, Cardi tweeted. What did Cardi do? You will respond.
I will respond.
What makes this chapter so fascinating is that we're watching 2 careers, 2 egos, and 2 public brands collide in real time, each move visible to millions. It's a rare thing when a celebrity breakup doesn't just create tabloid fodder, but actively reshapes the trajectory of both parties' professional lives. And right now, neither seems willing to retreat. Every song, every public appearance, every social media post feels like a carefully chosen piece in a long game that only they know the end of. With rumors of secret children, calculated revenge, and careers teetering on the edge, the only certainty is that this saga isn't over. Are we witnessing the ultimate act of self-reinvention, or just another round in a feud that's spiraling out of control? Tell us what you think. Who comes out on top when love turns into a chess match? Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and keep your eyes on the board.